The Orange Misfit is back in after the holidays to discuss some more Pokemon cards. Consider this my late Christmas present to you. So just sit back and I'll get right to the ranking.
101, Psyduck. Here's everyone's favorite befuddled duck. It's pretty much what you'd expect. The Psychic attack is a nice touch, though completely worthless as it's hard to predict when your opponent is going to play a trainer card, or if they even have any, and usually stopping it for one turn isn't going to make any difference, as you can play as many as you want the following one. It also gives your opponent a free shot at you, which is never good. If it did 10 damage, it'd be better, but as is, it's a poor attack. Fury Swipes is where you'll be dealing damage. Yeah, it has the chance to do 0, but you figure you'll probably get a good 20 in each time. It's well worth the 1 energy. If Psyduck had a more worthwhile psychic ability, it'd definitely get a higher placement, but instead, it's just an okay water type. 100, Mewtwo. I still remember my expectations for seeing the Mewtwo Pokemon card for the first time. This thing is going to be monstrous, absolutely the best card in the game. Then I saw the card and thought, wow, this really sucks. Why does it have 60 HP? Why does it only do 10 damage? What is this nonsense? The epitome of disappointment lies in Mewtwo. It can't do anything well. Its attack only gets powerful against strong Pokemon, and strong Pokemon will obliterate Mewtwo in at most 2 turns. Even weak Pokemon have no fear going up against it, because they can do more with their 1 energy than Mewtwo can do with 2, which is just embarrassing for this mutant psychic creature. Barrier is garbage, and unless you really want to keep Mewtwo alive, you better be prepared to sacrifice energy for this horrible stall move. Also, for some strange reason, unlike other legendaries, Mewtwo has a weakness, as well as an absurd 3 energy retreat cost. It's really weird that Mewtwo is horrifically underpowered while video game scrubs like Electabuzz and Hitmonchan became broken powerhouses. At least Mewtwo got better treatment in the hundreds of expansions to follow, but it'll always be remembered as a pathetic, weak disappointment in the original set. 99. Victory Bell. You've really got to pity this poor bastard. It's a giant, mutant, toxic Venus flytrap. It's one of the most embarrassingly underpowered evolutions in the game. It's even worse when you read its Pokédex description and mentions how some explorers were actually killed by this thing. When you look at its attacks, you'll truly wonder how it's possible. The only good thing I can say about it is it has a high HP. Lure could be a good attack if Victory Bell is a strong card. Bringing out a card you're choosing is a great strategy. However, there's not much weaker than Victory Bell that's even going to make a difference. Victory Bell's second attack Acid is atrocious. It only does 20 damage and its conditions that there's a 50% chance your opponent won't be able to retreat. But why would they want to? They're fighting Victory Bell. It's truly a tragic situation. Victory Bell deserves better. 98. Cloister. It's not much of an improvement in Shelter, which makes the idea of including these two in your deck a highly questioned and ridiculous scenario. Cloister has 2 attacks, one of which is horrendous. Clamp has a 50% chance of hitting. If it does hit, it paralyzes, but the fact that it needs to be successful in order to do damage is absurd and worthless. Your only real option is to use Spike Cannon, which for some reason costs the same as Clamp. Why anyone would use Clamp over this is beyond me, unless you're in absolute desperation to paralyze, but even then, you'd be better off praying for the 60 damage potential that Spike Cannon has. You get 2 coin flips and 30 damage for each successful toss, so it's nothing really special. With a fairly high retreat cost for a card this poor and a pathetic 50 HP, Cloister and its predecessor should be avoided at all costs. 97. Tentacruel. It's impressive how they made a gigantic mutant jellyfish into a wimpy, harmless invertebrate. Intimidating is the last word that comes to mind from facing this thing. Supersonic only has a 50% chance of success with 0 damage, making it a poor attack. At least Jellyfish Sting has a 100% chance of poison, which makes it a decent attack, but unfortunately Tentacruel is a painfully low HP for what it needs to do. Once your opponent is poisoned, you could try confusing it, but you might be better off dealing that 10 extra damage, or retreating for free on the bench and sending out something a little better. Either way, it's not a deadly strategy. It makes Tentacruel more into Tentakind. 96. Ponyta. Ponyta's main strength is type versatility. It and its evolution can be placed in any deck using a double colorless energy. Aside from that, it's a satisfactory first stage. Ponyta can deliver a lot of power. For 2 fire energy, it can dish out a 30 damage attack, which is better than Charmander's because there's no energy discard. However, it has 10 less HP in Charmander, but at least has 10 more in Diglett. Ponyta has several valid uses, making it an underappreciated first stage. 95. Eevee. Even though Eevee's primary purpose is to evolve it into something more interesting and stronger, it can still hold its own relatively well compared to a lot of first stages. Tailwag is a mild nuisance before it powers up Quick Attack, though a double colorless energy can get right to the point. It's a fairly solid 2 energy attack with the potential to do 30 damage, or at least 10, which is better than nothing. With an okay first stage HP and a resistance, Eevee is more incapable of lasting a few rounds against its competition while you figure out which evolution you're going to choose. 94. Jigglypuff. For a cute little lightweight, Jigglypuff is surprisingly resistant and strong. Lullaby is a decent stall move, and unlike Clefairy Sing, it guarantees to put your opponent to sleep, which increases your chances a little bit, but still, you wouldn't want to rely on just putting your opponent to sleep. Pound is a nothing special attack. For 2 energies, you do 20 damage, and even trade. At least has a high first stage HP. Jigglypuff does a lot of things right, which makes it a worthwhile option. 93. Nidoran Female. In the Battle of the Sexes, Nidoran Female clobbers her male counterpart. With an unusually high HP for her first stage and a much more consistent attack than Nidoran Male, she definitely has potential. Her call for family attack is pretty much useless, unless you're really into the Nido family and running a Nido King and Nido Queen combo deck. Regardless, she has some power to her and is one of the better first stage Pokemon to choose from. 92. Pidgeotto. This card was the bane of my childhood because it was my favorite Pokemon at the time and it was a rare card, so it was extremely difficult for me to obtain. Once I got it, I was confused and disappointed. To this day, I'm convinced there was an error in its rarity, or it had something to do with being on Ash's team because it's not exactly rare material. It's only one small step above Pidgey in terms of usability. Whirlwind now does 20 damage, which still isn't going to do much of anything other than be a slight annoyance, and with 60 HP, Pidgeotto will be defeated long before your opponent, especially when you're giving them an opportunity for a free retreat cost. Mirror Move is garbage. If it had the ability to mimic your opponent's move without having to get hit by it, then I can understand why it'd be rare. But since most damage it can deal is 50 for 3 energies, your opponent would never be dumb enough to hit you with it knowing you have that attack, which means that Mirror Move is an ineffective move.
Yeah, I'm still pretty disappointed about this guy. I think I paid like $3 to get it, it's just not a good card. At least Starwork looks nice on it. Anyway, next time we'll have 10 more cards, but moving on to the uncommon territory. See you then.